All right. Make sure my levels are good. Might need to change. How do I change that? It's 20%. Maybe that's okay. Filters, lower get value. Yeah, let's just throw it there for now. Playing around with some of the audio stuff. Last night when we were running our podcast, the 500 Little Things episode, did the same thing. Realized that the music and stuff was a little too high for conversations and stuff that we were having, so had to adjust that a little bit. Okay, so couple ideas on things I wanted to work today. Let's bring out our layout. So we're still looking pretty good on illustrations for pages and stuff like that. Page 18 has been the biggest thing that's been going on. So I actually sat down on Friday and looked at the story, looked at what was written, and I think I need to do some rewrites on this part of the story. So let me grab my notes real quick. Actually took more notes. And had a couple ideas. I wasn't too thrilled with them, but I have them. At least it's something, not nothing. So let's put this on so I can see. I think I wanted to... So we go from this to this. I think I didn't like this. Also want to look at, did a couple other things here too. Swap those eyes already, so that's all good. Yeah, I feel like this needs a rewrite. There's something disconnected between here and there. It's a joke I wrote. That doesn't work anymore. Let's see, do I have anything else on? Yeah, this is kind of where I'm stuck. Even my rewrites, I'm like, I don't know. Hey, hello, good morning, everybody. Welcome, Sundray. I felt so bad last night when we missed you at the very end of our our episode. Morning, Sunny. I'm gonna try to work on this page 18, trying to figure out, I feel like there's something needs to be rewritten here in order to get a good imagery to put onto this page. I just don't know what quite it is. I did put down some notes, but even my notes don't feel like they flow very well. Also wanted to look at a couple other pages too. Let's see, it should be these ones up here. Ooh, I can do a big stretch.
Shark says big stretch.
Oh, I can do a big stretch. We can check in on the puppers too. She's hanging out right now. Yeah, oh, she's hanging off the couch too. There we go. Now I can see your snoot. I know this is the big selling point of the stream, right? Is the puppers cam. I know it's my favorite part. She's like, I don't know what to think about all this. Oh, now you're gonna run away? Every time. Every time. She's like, I do not want to be filmed. Goofy Bumpers. Where are you gonna go? What are you gonna do? Yeah, I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you. You're looking at me. Looking at you. I know. I don't know what you want. She's being silly. Luckily, my setup's easy enough I can move it around pretty quick. She can't run far from me. Ooh, thank you, Sunny, for putting in your points for our assistant. We are up to... Hey, look at that. We're up to 91% now. We are so close. We're within 5,000 points of getting our treat for our assistant. Yay. Almost, Sora. Almost time for a treat. I know you heard that word. You know that word. But not yet. Almost. We did get a new treat for our cat, Patch. We tried out a new one, and he freaking loves it. So once we get Sora her treat, we can swap over and start building towards our next treat for Patch. And you guys get to see him be just crazy over... So he's 19. We've never tried one of those squeezy, treat things that you see all over the internet. So we tried one of them, and he goes crazy over it. He's very happy. Very happy boy. Oh, the best viewers. I think I have the best viewers. I don't need other viewers. Thank you. Appreciate that. Go peddle your wares somewhere else. Okay, so rewrites here. I don't know if I want the... Let's move these out for a second. So it's moving everywhere. Maybe if I pull as hard as I can, it will open. We do need an action. We need something that happens in between, because we've got a little bit of worry about this thing that's bouncing and moving all over the place. So it definitely needs something to happen in between where he's okay, but it's still a little nervous. That's why we have the color changes for each of these looped pages here. I was looking through one of my mangas that I have. It's called Comic Party. I was hoping that would give me a little bit of inspiration, but didn't really help too much. I could bring in some of this here. I just don't have the words for it yet. Let's see. Let's open up 18 and see. I've got a bunch of stuff stacked on it at the moment, but nothing definitive yet. I still don't like that. You know what? I'm just gonna get rid of that. I keep looking at it, and I'm like more and more not happy with that frame that I built for that, so get rid of it for now. So I have the opportunity with the layout that I have set up. I can do a 2-panel split because this originally was 2 pages. And when I bumped everything down, it compressed because like these ones couldn't be compressed. They couldn't be moved. So this was the one that got pushed. So 19 ended up being pushed into 18 and that got doubled up. So like I have text or have written enough to make a split panel in here of some sort, either horizontal or vertical, but I feel like now that it's compressed, it almost, like I said, it needs a different type of rewrite. Something. I think this one's bugging me. I'm just gonna put down what I wrote down on my notes for now. Only one way to find it. Oh, I got cropped. Let's see. How's your day going, Sundre? You hanging out today? How about you, Sunny? Are you at work today again? How's everybody doing out there in the land, in the world? I still don't like it. Sometimes doing edits and changes like this on the fly is kind of weird. Don't know if we're going to use that quite yet. Got all of this stuff. I kind of like that this is very unique to here. Like I think I can bring in pieces into some of this other illustrations, but I don't want to bring that whole Yeah, you're at work? I thought so. Let's see. Okay, yeah, I've got some more ideas for that. Yeah, I don't know why this one is. It feels like I should be able to come up with something fairly easy to. You hit the ground running today? Is it a busy day? Something going on at work? Got a big run on customers? I think we need the box. Yeah, I was thinking not to use the split here. I thought about having him like maybe looking in a toolbox for tools, but I didn't really like that idea. I mean, I could definitely have a fantasy piece that would work like that. So I'm trying to balance like part of our story, we get to be a little bit fantastical with some of the stuff. Some of it is more grounded in not necessarily reality, but it's a mix between those two things. So like some of the stuff we get to have a little bit more fantastical play things that we can do with it, but like I could go way outside of the box and put him like in a little welder's suit or like something like that. That would be funny, but does it fit? This is book 3. Book 1 was his transition from his to his new home. Book 2 was kind of the exploration of that and starting to have a little bit of imagination. Book 3 is the introduction of something new. A sibling of sorts. I can make him confident here on 18. We did something similar to that in book 1. Where he goes, I'm nervous, but also brave. Time to go explore. It's like we've done something like that already before. Line it opening and people are being impatient, finally settling down now. That's crazy. Why do you think there was such a run on the restaurant? Did you guys have something cool going on? Something crazy going on? Okay. I'll put it up to y'all. What do you think? Ignore these word bubbles down here at the bottom. Our big thing right here is page 18. We have our cat friend here that's trying to deal with or understand what's going on with this box. Something's inside of it. He doesn't quite know what it is. He's not thinking that it's an animal of some sort per se. He could have a idea that something might be in there that's alive, but it's not necessary. Kind of want to keep him a little bit in the dark, a little innocence in that. But between being a little bit nervous about why this thing is making a whole bunch of noise and moving around, we have that, and then on the other side is him being like, nope, I really do want to know what's inside, so I'm going to try to open up this box and get in there. We need something to connect those two pieces. What do y'all think would be? What do you think? And it can be just something that he says. It could be anything. I've written down a couple things, like there has to be a way to open it, and which kind of links those two together. These went together technically. This one was a new one I just came up with. I'm not sure what's inside the box, but there's only one way to find out. Like it's not bad, and I could come up with just a random illustration for that, but I almost feel like there's a better something to say in there. Bishek is not here. I saw nothing. Okay. Sniffing or poking at it. Yeah, kind of thought about that. I thought about maybe having the other character, having Patch stick his paw out the little hole. Because anytime if you've ever had a cat and a kitten, they always stick their little paws through the little holes, the little openings in boxes. They think that's the funnest thing in the world. I thought about that. I tried to do it illustration wise. It didn't quite work out. It looked kind of funny, unless I can figure out a different way to illustrate it. But thank you, Bishak, for putting in your points for our special treat for Sora. We are now up to 4,600 points raised out of our 50k. So we are at 92%. Let's go check on our assistant. I think she's just zonked. She's doing her thing. Get rid of me out of there. Chillaxing at the moment. A little downtime, trying to get warm, and then she'll probably want to go back outside at some point here soon. Just chilling. The littlest of huskies. Also, if you couldn't tell by my voice, I am a little sick. I'm like at the tail end of being sick. Talked about it a little bit last week. I had to try to cough away from the microphone and stuff like that, but I'm still feeling it like in my nose and my nostrils, like way up high. I can feel it. It's weird. I'm still draining too. I'm not coughing as much anymore, which is good, but at the same time, it still kind of sucks. But it happens. Try to have him like looking through the hole in the box. We could give it like a preview idea. It'd be kind of weird. So I did a page like this on the last book. Let's see if I can bring it up. I did one. So there's a scene where our character goes under the deck for the first time because he's outside unattended. And I did this like dark page, put in this bat, just kind of silly, fun idea. But this was supposed to be like the darkness underneath the deck kind of idea. I could do something like that again, but since I've kind of already used it directly from the book previous to the one we're working on, I'm a little more hesitant to not do that. I'm not sure. 'Cause I could do something. We'll just try to temp up something real quick and see what happens. Nope, that is not what I wanted. That's not what I wanted either. Thought about doing it the opposite direction. What if we did like looking out of the hole? We could even put in, that might be an idea. Let's see, let's grab our, maybe from this one? Man, come on. No, why do we want that? Select all, there we go. Copy. Don't save. to make it really big though. Thought about doing something. Let's see. I messed it up. I messed up big time. Shoot. I should have put that on its own layer since we're just temping things around. Oh, you deleted everything, didn't you? Let's try. Oh, we'll play with this some more. It's not going to look like much here. Let's just mess. I guess let's just mess with it here. This might be easier. That looks weird. Why does that look weird? Whatever. Let's see. That's way too big. Like, that's the problem, is if the hole is supposed to be tiny, then he's going to be really, really big. Super, super big. So like it would only be his ear or whiskers or something like that that would be sticking into the hole, or sticking, you know, kind of outlined in our hole here. Like he was peeking through. That's just gonna be, it's not gonna look right. We'd have to make it way obvious or something that the perspective of that's not going to work, unfortunately. I'd have to really definitely be something very unique, but even to put something like that where we've got little whiskers and put the background in the back, you can have him looking through the hole. We can even have our main character kind of. Like, it kind of works. Like, it's not horrible. It's not great. It's not horrible, though. Ooh, I think I know. What if I put a gradient on that? Something like this. Let's go. Gosh, dang it. Do a little vignette idea like that. I mean, it's kind of fun. It's kind of interesting. Then I can do something with the character out here and even put in a couple of objects behind. It kind of alludes to what's going to happen next, but does it? So if we go that far, are we taking away the surprise? Because we do a pretty good job so far of making sure that this is, like, for people that know, adults, maybe reading this to their kids or anything like that, like, when you see this type of box, you kind of, like, we've all kind of seen this, whether it be in shows, movies, online, or even being to an adoption center or whatever. They mostly use, even at veterinarians and stuff like that, sometimes they'll give you a box that looks kind of like this to be able to transport your animal back and forth. So, and I have to remember, it's like, it's somewhat common, but not universally common too. But that's okay. So if you kind of are in the know, you kind of have a feeling what's coming with this already. So maybe this isn't too far out of the box. Like, it's not bad. It's not bad. Let's see. Hmm. Put a little glow around that character too, in between. Don't want to go too crazy. Centralized. Let's see. Let's drop that down a little bit there. Like it's super exaggerated, but it's not bad for being exaggerated the way it is, which is good. Definitely a big block of non-color though. We're gonna try something real quick. Let's see, temp 18. Okay, let's put one in there. Oops, on the wrong layer. Go. The only problem with doing blacks like this is the printing. Ingram does a weird thing with their printing with too much blacks. That's why I went kind of with the purple on the other book, because the blacks are just kind of super harsh. Yeah, it's not like bad. We might be able to push it a little bit. We might be able to push this a little bit further here. We can minimize some of the blacks here. Let's get rid of that for now. You do something like that. I can also put in the rounds for the. So let's duplicate this out. Copy, paste. Let's shift that a little bit off of center. Let's see. That's not what I wanted. I feel like my mouse is dying or something like that. It's doing weird things every once in a while. Yeah, if I do kind of like that, then it kind of gives that thickness of the box. Kind of looking through the little hole there. Kind of the idea. Let's trim that up. So that's kind of the idea, right? So we kind of give a hint maybe of the character inside of the box looking out. maybe. How does that work up here? Maybe it needs to be lighter, not darker. Because that's kind of what we're kind of hinting back towards that. There we go, something like that. Scale. Let's go 98. The little guy's looking out, but our main character is not really looking in either. Sunny Ruth redeemed hydrate. No, I don't want to drink water, but thank you. Hydrate. Get out of here. I appreciate that though. Hydrate with juice. Yeah, there we go. I can grab some juice. We are like 8 minutes out from our first break, so I'll grab some hydration at the break time for sure. I promise. I promise, I promise. Kind of works, kind of doesn't work. This is where then becoming hypercritical is bad. Of course, it comes down to the last page. I also have to look at this relationship between this page and this page too. Might need to do, let's take the inside of this box. I need to add some of that red to it. I don't know if we can or not. Can kind of blend between those two, that would be perfect. That looks more creepy than it does. Shoot, that does not what I wanted. The red box. Maybe if I had made the box red for the other page, the inside of the box. I don't think that works. Experiments. I don't know. Like, it's not horrible. It's not, I don't feel like it's great though. It's definitely like, out of all the pages, you can definitely tell that one is way different than the rest of them. Just has a different feel and vibe to it. Yeah, I feel like it needs to be broken up differently. That's a double panel, that's a single, these are a bunch of singles. Like, it almost needs that double split, because we get some other splits up here. That one's unique because it's definitely a different shape. I think part of the joke, or maybe not a joke, but what I was trying to do before was allude to the idea that he could read. That's why I had designed the one panel before that I got rid of, that was him being like, I found it. That's because like he's reading, he's figuring it out, but ended up not going with that. I also had an idea of maybe doing these bubbles for his thinking bubbles, and then putting like different shapes of tools in them. Like, does he, like when he's thinking, how do I get in this? Do I need tools? Kind of idea. I also thought maybe he could have like a little toolbox that he pulls up, and I don't know. Like, the thing is I can have some fun with it. It can be a little bit imaginative and playful. Have a little bit of fantasy part to it if I want. It doesn't have to be like stark, serious kind of thing. It could be a little bit less than that. I like the perspective change on this one, because we get a very different perspective all of a sudden from all of this other stuff, which seems very similar, which I don't mind, but I don't know if that's tips our hand too much, or the as much as the dark around it is just kind of tripping it off a little bit. I don't know. It's tripping me up. How about that? We might, for after we come back from our break here, we might switch over, and I might work on a couple of other things while I think about this a little bit more. Like, we have a concept of an idea here, but it's just kind of okay at the moment. May need more rewrites, just depends. But let's go ahead and save this at the moment. Make sure if you're working digitally, save your work. Don't forget, if you have it set for autosave, you're good. Don't worry about it. Or at least double check to make sure it's doing what it's supposed to be doing correctly. What But let's switch over to our live cam for our puppers. Oh, she's just chillaxing. She'll probably, as soon as I move and try to go get something to drink, she'll probably head towards the door to want to go outside. So we'll switch over to the outside cam. You guys get to see the beautiful outside right now. Oh man, look at that. Birds flying through and everything right now. Perfect timing. And what we'll do is we'll pause right here. I'm going to take a 3-minute break for our ads, and then when we come back, we'll keep going and working on stuff. How about that? Look at that. We got some birds out there today. Holy smokes. Who would have thought this was such an animal-centric stream? But we'll pause, we'll come back, and we'll try to see if we can work on that. If not, we'll work on a couple of other things, and then we'll go from there. So stay tuned. We'll be back in a minute. Okay, I have returned. Let's see what Sunny has to say. Been mulling over some advice that I was given to push for a decision on asking for a voice call for my dungeon date, even though I know it's never a good time because she's always busy, but right now it just seems like not the best time. We're struggling to find another job. Friend was all like, if you have to beg for it, and I'm like, well, I haven't really been pushing since I've just been letting things develop slowly. Okay, so have you all not been talking lately? Or is this like, is it an escalation for a voice call? Is it something new and more? Also, welcome back, stream. Hello. We're just looking outside. Sora was out there for a minute. She's probably out hanging out on the grass now, but there's all kinds of birds flying around. Sunny's asking some questions here. Do you feel like it's escalating or moving forward in that way? Because from what I remember, you guys haven't met in person yet. Yeah, I haven't met in person. I thought so. We talk every day, texting back and forth, but a friend was like, you should push for more. I'm like, I don't want to be pushy. Yeah, if you don't feel like it's like, if you're happy with what you've got going on, I don't think there's any reason to push on any of that. You have to remember it. All of this stuff is relationship wise. It's what you're comfortable with and what you feel like. Like, if you feel there's something missing from your interactions, your relationship, then you talk to that person and be like, "Hey, I'm interested in this thing. I don't know how you feel about it quite yet, but I would be open to, discussing it or figuring it out or seeing if we can advance our relationship. I know things are crazy at the moment right now with you. If that's a bad time, then no worries. Like, you can also set it up a lot of ways like that too. So it's all about being understanding, right? This sounds like more sound advice. Well, you're welcome. Like, it's never supposed to be crazy or anything like that. Like, it's you and them. Everybody has the opportunity and chance to come and go as they please in whatever it is. Relationships thrive, they fall apart, like, on whims that I don't even understand. They just, that's the way the world rolls. So being able to navigate part of that is hard, yes. But it doesn't mean that you have to lose or throw yourself under the bus for anything. Yeah, it's yeah. It can spin you around. All the winds. That's a hard one. It really is. No, I think if you approach it from, wanting to communicate more and see if that's something that is possible or in the cards, that will give you more information about what the relationship kind of looks like in a lot of ways too. So if they're like, no, I don't really want to, escalate things, then you have a better understanding of like, well, okay, well, either this is this something that's going to develop over much longer, which I would have to be way more patient for, or it's something that they are not interested entirely. So that can either spark more conversations about those things or asking them about if what they're looking for or interested in, things like that. So, like, it's all about figuring out how to communicate with people, and that's hard. Me and Dreamer don't always do it correctly or the right way. It just happens. But I think we always look at the situation and try to be like, okay, we may not have communicated correctly the way we wanted to through our conversations, but we want to change and do something different and do something better or find a different connection point, and we work pretty hard to do those things. And I know it sounds weird, but relationships are work in some ways, so I don't know. We always get the Hollywood version of it. It should just be easy, right? Like, it just should be, 1-to-1. You fall in love and everything is happy go dory, happy go lucky kind of thing. But that's not necessarily how that works. Easy is overrated, yeah. Well, easy is nice, but it tends to come with the caveat of not being long-lasting in ways. We have to play on Asian difficulty. Yeah. I love that meme. That is such a fun meme. I think that's from Steven, right? Steven did that one where every time he like takes a step or breathes or whatever, the character dies. It's instant failure. That's funny. The funny part is like, I know that that was directed directly at Asians and stuff like that, but it feels so real just for life in general. Like, life steps in any way are just, yeah, leaf lands on him. Life is just kind of that way. No, it's one of those things that, like, even Mrs. Tahoe and I, we moved in with each other early on in our relationship before we had any idea about getting married or anything like that, or starting a family. And we lived with each other for a while. And it was super informative to understand how and see how people live and whether or not you mix well with them and their styles and their flow and their, you know, the way they do things with their life and stuff like that. So it's something we recommend to our kids, being like, hey, if you ever want a relationship with somebody, we suggest moving in with them, like live with them for a year, 2 years, whatever it is. But if you're connected with them in that way, it doesn't matter how long it is. Like, getting married is a piece of paper kind of thing. But having that connection and being able to support each other and be there for each other in all of the different ways that you're going to have to be if you do decide to stay together, that's important to know early on, is whether or not that is, if you're capable of it, if they're capable of it, if you can mix those two things together and be able to be there for each other. It was directed at an audience, but it's funny because it can be like that for everyone at times. Yeah, exactly. And some of the best jokes are that way, that they are set up in a way that they are referential to your life understanding, but they hit on so many other levels. So okay, so I want to do a couple of things. So I put together these. We kind of started to work on this a little bit last week. Got some pictures of the animals that the characters are based off of. I'm gonna put these on my banners at the convention that I'm going to here on this coming weekend. And so we decided we're gonna put together some photos. So I think I want to move these around so that there's space so I can get a border around them cut. For each of the real life photos, and then I want to put a border around these guys at the bottom so that they have a little thing to be able to cut out as well. So a little bit of busy work while I think about some of the other stuff at the moment. That's quarter. Let's move that over. Let's see, that's 0.5. Is that 0.5? That's 0.5. There we go. Let's do that. This should be 11, so this should be 10.5. 10.5. Hopefully my advice is worth something. I am by no means an expert or a therapist or anything like that. So take all of the things that I say with a grain of salt and put them through your own filters so that they make sense and work for you, for sure. And if I sound like shit, like I full of shit, then please, please, please tell me I'm full of shit. I accept that. That's... These should be 0.5. This is the edge. 12.2, so I should be able to add 0.5, 5, 6. Oh yeah, that's what it was. That was the problem. Okay, that one's fine. Which means that one's fine, but these need to be a little bit smaller then, so I have some room to cut around. That should work. These will definitely have to be scaled down. Okay, so this is 12 point. This one is easy. There we go. That one is there. This one should be minus 0.5. So that one should be 22. 22 point. Something like that. I think that's right. I think I did the math right for that one. Yeah, that's correct. So that can move over. Still need to make them smaller though. Okay, what size are these photos? It's gonna be 4, it's almost gonna be 5 by 6. Dang it. I bought special photo paper for this because I was gonna try to make these as big as possible, but they almost ended up 4 by 6 anyways. I could have just printed them on normal. I think I have 4 by 6. Let me double check. Yeah, dang it, I do have 4. I'm lurking right now. Hello, Dreamer. Ooh, did you put a bunch of points in? Let's see. Ooh, we're at 94% now. We're within 3,000 points. We're almost there. Zora's almost ready to get her treat. I want these to be bigger. Okay, so I'm doing this the fast, easy way. Let's not do that. Shit balls, shit. Yeah, so those are definitely bigger than 5 by 6. Sunny Ruth is lurking in the shadows. Same with Dreamer. So many shadow lurkers. This is our 8.5 by 11. So I can't put a border on this. Add stroke. Let's put that on the outside. Nope, can't do that. Okay, so it won't let me do it on photos. Oop. Okay. If that's a 1/4 inch. So when you're doing print work, you want to make sure that if you're doing like an 8.5 by 11 sheet here, that you give yourself a 1/4 inch around the edges, so that anything that, like if I put this photo all the way against that 1/4 is going to get cut off. So you want to make sure to know where your edges are that are going to get cut off, so you don't get, you can make your plans correctly. Like I don't mind. I don't mind that going up there, but I need a 1/2 inch in between the two photos so that I can cut them correctly. I want a 1/4 each for each one. Because if I would have printed them on a 4x6 sheet, they would be really small. Because then it has to reduce the size even further to make it fit on that format. Nope, I think I'm gonna sneeze. Got close to sneezing. Second day in a row that has tried to make me sneeze on stream and it didn't. It also affects my brain when I'm not feeling like 100% that I'm not as on the ball as far as being like creative too. Takes me a lot to figure shit out. So, sorry if I'm a little slow today. I have an idea. Put that one in the center, which is 5.5. Okay, so that should be right. Just make my life easier. We'll set it up like that so that I know that we have a 1/4 inch for that. It makes this photo a little bit smaller, makes this one a little bit bigger, but that's okay. That's okay. There we go. Okay, so the question is, can I do that? This one. Can I put this in the center? Okay, so that did center. Sweet. So that's right. That's 1/4 inch. That's 1/4 inch. Okay, so as long as our photos fit in those boxes. Should be okay. Bueno, okay. Yay, that'll work. Give this a little bit more. Actually, we can make that one even bigger, but that one doesn't matter because we could crop that down a little bit too. Definitely want that tail in there though. Perfect. Yeah, we got a little bit more photo out of that. Bueno. Okay, so we should be able to select that. Okay, good. Theme. Okay. I'm not listening to bird sounds, that's just in the song. I know it goes really well with our video of outside, but anyways, at least you're trying. Some days I don't bother. Don't bother to do what? The grids that I'm doing right now? Is that what you're talking about, Vern? I'm trying to be too perfectionist and get my 1/4 inch set up here way too perfect. Anything at all. Lol. I'm being too anal. Okay, there we go. Now we've got our photos set up correctly. Should all fit. There we go. Bueno. I did it. They look great. Thank you. I'm trying to give them all a 1/4 inch space around them so that I can cut them out and have a little frame. because I'm going to do a little frame around these guys too. So I'm trying to get them to be as close as I can be. Vern, you haven't been around in a little bit. Have you seen our assistant cam that I've had set up? We have a live assistant. I know I've been working. Yeah, well, everybody has. Nope. Oh, you get to see it. Let's see. I don't know if she's out there or not right now. Sometimes she's running around doing different things, but this is our live outside camera at the moment, but sometimes Sora's out there laying on the deck or walking around, just depending. She's not there right now. I'll see. Hold on for a second. Hold on, let me see if I can go find her or not. I will be back. Okay, so I have two old. Let's see if this one works. Ah, there she is. We'll swap back over. There she is. She's just hanging out on the deck, being a puppers. So now, anytime anybody redeems their points for our assistant, then I can put up the camera and they can see where she's at if she's running around doing different things. So I've got one camera that's set up that's stationary, that's this one that just kind of looks out into the backyard, and then I have another one that's like a little mobile camera that I can swap to, that's just an old iPad or an old iPhone that I still have lying around that I converted into essentially a mobile camera. So it's got a little battery pack that goes with it so it can stay charged. Yeah, it's been kind of fun. So most of the streams are just me running around chasing Sora around the yard with the camera, being like, stay where you're at. Sometimes she plays along, sometimes she doesn't. Just depends. She should be extra excited because there's tons of birds out right now, and she loves birds. Oh, it's a big yawn. Yeah, there we go. But yeah, that's what we're doing. I'm working on some stuff for convention I have coming up this weekend. So I've got some stuff I need to get. I need to get this done so that I can get it printed out and get some foam core boards so that I can mount them on and stuff like that. But it's kind of the idea at the moment. Kind of messing around with it a little bit. We've been lucky enough to get most of our book stuff done for number 3. I'm still messing around on some different pages. I'm currently trying to get number 18 done, which is this one here, but I'm running into issues where I don't like what I've got here, and I want to come up with something different. So that's kind of where I'm at. Kind of stuck. I'm trying to figure out what my connection point between this, where he's kind of freaking out about this box that keeps moving around, and him wanting to open it. I got to figure out either rewrite some of the stuff that I've got written and then come up with the imagery, or come up with the imagery and then do some rewrites to make it fit. So I'm kind of stuck right there at the moment, so I'm dicking around with some of this other stuff that I need to get done in the meantime. Hopefully inspiration hits and I can get that done, but because we are pretty close. We've got about 98% of the book started, which is good. And then I can start going back and really polishing up each of the pages for book 3 and get it fine-tuned so that it looks really, really good. But I think if I can get that last one kind of in there, then it would definitely feel good to be able to then bounce around a little bit and get things polished, I think. So, drink some coffee? No. I will let you in on a secret, Vern. I don't drink coffee and I don't drink alcohol, so I am the worst of the worst. I'm not anti any of those things, I just don't drink them myself. So I am boring to be around most days. I get nervous because if I keep doing these book events and doing book related things, I know at some point somebody's gonna be like, yeah, let's go out to do it. And I'm like, oh man, it's gonna be rough. Gonna have a hard time with that one. Alcohol, I understand totally. I really enjoy the coffee. Yeah, Mrs. Tahoe loves the coffee too. She had to switch to decaf after some health stuff that we were able to figure out, but we figured out almost like she's allergic to a bunch of different stuff. But being able to have decaf with, oh gosh, it's a special kind. No, I don't think it's the low acid. I don't remember, but that has made a world of a difference for her, which has been good. Oh, straight edge. Yeah, that's the wording I would use for it. Most people would just go with boring, but that's okay. I appreciate that. I think the comment I get most is people like, how do you get up in the morning? I'm like, I just get up. Like, I don't know. I just throw myself out of the bed onto the floor and then put pants on and curse the day and then move on. I don't know. Something like that. I think nowadays people understand. Yeah, a little bit. It was interesting the last, when I did the humanities literary crawl here in Reno. Actually, you know what? Let's just leave that there for now. They had a little like happy hour after the event to celebrate, the completion of doing all of our panels and things like that, which was cool. But it was at a brewery, and I was like, I'll pass. It's all right. I'm okay. I want not that one, this one. Not a bad thing, not a good thing. It's all just whatever. It's all good. Like I said, I'm more worried that if someday I get somebody that comes by and is like, I really want to talk to you and maybe do a deal on something. Let's meet at XYZ, and I'm gonna be like, I don't have a problem meeting there, but I'm definitely not gonna be drinking any of this stuff. So you're right, Sonny. I'm just straight laced. I'm the straightest straight edge ever. There we go. I really do need to make that permanent so that I can get that right. There we go. He's got them white whiskers, which are hard to show up on a background of white. I want that to be white as well. Round outside. There we go. 0.6 for the moment. Fine. How's it going with you, Vern? I saw you were out at the races and stuff. That looked really fun. Was those were rally cars, right? That was off-road, doing all kinds of cool stuff. I think you made Mr. Alex very jealous with that one, though. I think he wanted to be there. He wanted to be out there with the rally cars, too. You get to go do all kinds of fun, exciting things. That was really cool. It's going, yes. This past weekend was an ARA rally sprint event. Plenty of people from Washington, Oregon came to it. That's cool. That looks fun. Were you rolling around in one of the cars too? Did you get a personal chauffeur around? I'm always working. That's your superpower, Sonny. You're always working. Oh, wait, that's not a superpower. Shoot. It's a ton of fun. I'm thankful they opened it up to media like me. So do you get contracted to go do that? Or is that just like a, hey, this is something that we're doing, come and, like, I understand, like, if they want people to come photograph it and stuff like that, but are you out there just for your own fun and free time, or are you working? Yes, I know the guy that does heavy sweep, and I asked him to take me and another girl for a rec run. Oh. A Reese run? Reese? Yeah. I think I said that right. Oh, practice. Gotcha. It's like a course run to drivers. You can see the course, not at speed. Right. So is this the one where they have the dual drivers, or the driver and the passenger is giving them the turns and stuff like that? Is that this type of race? I'm assuming that's the kind we're talking about. Because they get to walk the course or drive around the course and get all of the notes and stuff like that. They make pace notes during the time and kind of figure out a game plan for this. Yeah, okay. I thought so. I thought I was on the right track. Yep, okay, cool. I'm not fully knowledgeable on all the car stuff, but I have a fair little bit. Sorry, I had to mute myself real quick. I sneezed. Ooh, that would have been bad on stream. Holy smokes. Okay, cool. So, I think that kind of gets done what I wanted it to do. So now what we can mess around with. Let's turn that off. Let's turn that off. Pick this. We are allowed now to add a second stroke to the stroke and put that on the other side of the stroke. Theoretically, supposedly, yeah, like that. Cool. So now technically I should be able to just copy that? No. Ooh, that does weird things down there. Why does that do that? Want that. There we go. Just a little bit, a wee little bit off there. Okay, so we should be able to do the same thing here. Should be able to add stroke. Should be able to put it on the other side of this one. Okay, cool, same problem. There we go. That should line up perfectly. Yep. Now we got our cutout marks. I'll be back to football for MNF. Oh, cool. I think I'm getting a pair in the mail. For anybody who's thinking or football, she's talking about soccer. That's what she's talking about. For those Americans of brass balls. Yeah, Vern is pretty baller, so... Oh no, you're gonna do American football? God damn it, you bounce around to everything. God damn it, you're so impressive. Fuck you for being so impressive. God damn it. You're welcome. I want to be like you someday, Vern. Someday. Someday. Stop being so cool, god damn it. Stop. No, I'm not gonna stop. Gonna sing it from the mountaintops is what I'm gonna do. Mirror in Front of Shadow is pretty cool. It's really a ton of hard work and long hours. I've no freaking doubt about it. Holy shit. I can only imagine. I'm assuming you have to be there super early and you have to stay there super late and you got to get all the photos and everything in between. I can only imagine what that looks like. Yeah, that's got to be insane. Stress levels elevated on NFL days. Yeah. I can only imagine. Have you gotten to go to the Super Bowl and do work there? Because I can only imagine that one's even crazier. There's probably about... Okay, so on a typical NFL football field, how many photographers do they have on the field per game? Like 10, 20? I would assume, Super Bowl 100, 200, I don't know. No, but maybe someday I'll make that cut. Is it pretty elitist? Like, is it pretty, like you have to be top of the top to get on that list to go do it? You have to get recommended by somebody? Is it like one of those crazy things? The Super Bowl photo team is elite. Yeah, I thought so. I was like, it's got to be, because they got to get some crazy shots and stuff like that, because they're making posters, shirts, everything, cards, whatever you can think of. They've got to make it, so they got to have a photographer for every piece of that. Any type of media that you can think of, that makes sense. They've got to have somebody for it. So they want to make sure whoever's doing it is on their A game for sure. That makes sense. Yeah, what does the photo group look like? Depends on the game and what outlets send for AP. We have at least 3 photo and 1 editor on site. Other outlets may send 2 people. And then there are team photographers, and then the league photographers. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. They're probably all separated, and probably each team has their own set of photographers too. So there's usually around 30 still photo alone per game among all areas. Okay, yeah, that's about what I was thinking. So freaking the Super Bowl's got to be at least 50, if not 60, like double that, right? Maybe more? Was I more accurate with my 100 guess earlier? That's not counting video, and then there's broadcast. Yeah, the broadcast trailers that I've seen before, those things are insane with all everything that they've got going on, especially with the new SkyTrack and everything else. Like it's quite a production. Sidelines are busy and you really need to be aware. Yeah. Okay, how many times have you been tackled over the years? Or almost tackled because of being so close to an action? How many times have you been pelted with footballs? We need to see the bruises. We need to see the damage. How often do you get home and show your significant other and be like, look at all the shit that happened to me. I got fucked up today. One time at a high school football game, and it was by a kid that I used to coach in swim team. I had a softball-sized bruise on my leg for weeks. Yeah, that's a dangerous profession. That's funny. Sometimes I've seen some of those sidelines people just get rocked by, players coming off the field full speed. I can't even imagine. Those are big dudes too. He picked me up and it was super apologetic. It was cute. But yeah, you can get wrecked if you're not paying attention. Yeah. So I grew up in a sports household. I played sports for most of my life. I'm fairly sports inclined. I can do baseball, basketball, soccer. I never really got into football, even though like we had our own little home stuff that we did just for funsies. But I never got into playing on a team or anything like that. So definitely sports inclined. Like probably if I would have stayed in, I could have pushed on that a little bit, but I got to the point where politics for sports teams were too much for me, so I was like, fuck this shit. I'm gonna go be an artist. I was doing that stuff anyways, but that's fun because I get to pay attention to both sets of those things now. So I get to appreciate things that are happening in the game, but then I get to look at the sidelines and see all of the people on the side working and doing, you know, audio or video or photography or any of that stuff, and I get to dream and think about all the cool stuff they're doing, which is kind of cool. So get a little bit of appreciation for all the stuff, which is cool. Pretty cool by me. Okay, so we need I think we need a couple of these. I do that all the time too. It's fun. I think the first thing I always do, I get it from all the angles, because I also worked in construction forever. Even like walking into stadiums and stuff, I'm looking at the architecture, I'm looking at the building mechanics and all of that stuff. So like I'm very like heavily like, oh my god, I get to look at all the cool stuff, which is always fun. What's always exciting is watching a helmet fly off. And then there's Sonny being like, yeah, people get fucked up. Yeah, the tunnels are cool. I think that's the part that a lot of people don't get to see is some of the infrastructure stuff underneath the stadium, which I feel like is a missed opportunity because there's a lot of cool places, maintenance and everything else down there is really kind of cool. I mean, AP posted the photo of Cam Scatbo's foot facing the wrong way. Oh, yikes. Yeah, no, I'm good. I had a basketball class in college that I did. It was just to fulfill my PE credits and stuff like that. And I rolled my ankle, and it was one of those ones where I had to think about it afterwards, and I realized that the way I had come down and this, you know how your side of your heel has that little knob on the side? I was like, that part of my foot was touching the ground while the rest of me was standing straight. And I'm like, no wonder it's the size of a basketball. Like, I'm shocked it didn't just explode and just, disintegrate on me from what I did. So I was like, I think I need to chill a little bit on some of that. Yeah. So I feel like not near that pain. If it's facing the wrong way, that's no bueno for sure. So, yikes. Okay, so we are coming up on our next break here. So I'm going to pause at the moment. I'm going to look through I have to pull up some photo paper so that I can get this prepped to print out here. But we're going to switch over to our live cam. We'll see if Puppers is out there, if the camera will work or not. Ooh, might have died. We'll check the other one. That one's still... Oh, no, there she is. She's hiding over there. Camera just didn't want to connect. But we'll take a break for the moment, and then we will reconvene after those 3 minutes, and then we will keep going, and I'll figure out what else I want to do. If I have an idea for something to do for that page 18 or not. I don't know. Still got to work on it some more. So stick around. We'll be right back after the break. Oh no, my camera died again. Oh, it keeps doing things. Hey, wait a minute. We had a raid going on? Sage. Aw, welcome, Sage. Hello. Have your great stream brother off into the wild blue. Oh, there you go. Trying to find Sora out there while we're on our little break here. Well, thank you. Hello, everybody. Welcome. I know you probably can't hear me at the moment, but when you come back. The ad break may be weird for you, depending on how it's set up. This is Sora. Sora's the Husker puppers in the house. I don't think she quite knows what she wants to do. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. Well, the puppers was hanging out right there, so she's gonna go hide on us now again, which is fine. How did the stream go, Sage? Everything working out? I saw I was watching for quite a while there. Like I said, I put you on in the background so that I can keep an eye on you. Make sure you're not getting up to anything nefarious. But I don't always get to listen, especially when I'm running my own stream. Let's see. Let's switch back here for a second. Give me 1 second. I will be right back. Okay, I have returned. I wanted to swap out our... So I've got an interesting setup here for our assistant cam. I've got two cameras out there, one iPad that is plugged into the wall out there, and one that's plugged into a battery that I can carry around. So when I kind of want to have her around for videos and stuff like that, I kind of move that one around, kind of get some cool shots of her hanging out with her toys and stuff here on the deck. But the other one is kind of a stagnant, just out towards the backyard. This is what her viewpoint looks like. She's looking out on all of this kind of stuff. So she's just hanging out, watching the birds, keeping an eye on the valley and stuff like that, making sure nothing's coming through. Sometimes we get some coyotes that will walk through there. She thinks that they're fun, which is weird, but they also kind of look like her, so I understand that. Makes sense. But yeah, there's Sora, just hanging out. But based on that, if you've been around the streams at all, then some of these characters may look familiar, but did you know that they are based on real animals from my life? So this is Buttons, the little black cat with the little triangle in his chest there. So my characters are based off of real animals. This is Patch, little black and white tuxedo cat. And then we have Sora. Sora the Husky. Yeah, backstory time. Welcome to the backstory. So all of the characters from the books that I'm writing are based off of animals in my real life. And even some of the ones that are just kind of in the stories, like we have the second book is all about Buttons going outside for the first time, and there's some birds that are flying around and stuff like that. Those are actually birds that visit our house and stuff like that, and those ones don't have names, but some of the other animals that have visited our house do have names. Like there's a hawk that flies around. We call him Stephen Hawking for obvious reasons. There was a bobcat that visited us at one point, and his name is Bobby the Bobcat. Who else? We've got some bunny friends. We've got quail that come around here a lot. We've got the coyotes. I don't think the coyotes have names yet. All kinds of different wildlife that come by and stuff like that. So they may or may not show up in books. There might be an owl that shows up. His name is Hoots. We'll see. All fun stuff. But I've got some prep work to do for the convention that I'm going to be doing this weekend. So I've got some photos I need to print out, and then some characters to go with them, and maybe some text bubbles to use. It's kind of the idea. Kind of maybe intersperse those, but I need to get the kind of the layout figured out that I want to use for these. Still trying to figure out page 18. That one's still tripping me up though. I don't know what to do about that one yet. So working on trying to get my third book here finished so I can get it published, which I'm self-publishing, but get it all ready to go so that it can be printed and things like that. But we're getting there. We're almost to the finish line, give or take. But I appreciate Sage for the raid. Did you get a bunch of work done today? I think you said you weren't going to stick around, but you're off into the wild blue yonder. Did Sage make a bunch of progress today on his books and stuff like that? Are they ready for pre-order yet? I know he had talked about trying to get them to a point where he can sell them and stuff like that. I also know he was talking about having to get some more equipment and things at some point. His little quarter rounder and maybe his printer for his white ink and stuff like that. I was kind of wondering if he could use screen printing for that as a simpler way to do it, or let's say a cheaper way, like set up a little jig for it and then just have all the papers and run the ink and stuff like that. I wonder if that would be a possibility that he could look into. I don't know. Always lots of simpler ways to do things rather than trying to buy the heavy equipment if necessary. Even for his like quarter rounder, I know they make little almost look like chisels. They're quarter round chisels, and you just use a hammer and you just smack them either on the leather or on the paper, and it'll cut it for sure. But option, it's cheap. You can get some prototypes out of it. Might be an idea for him to think about. So if I don't see him before you see him, maybe suggest a couple of those. You might have some options. Since he's working on prototypes, might as well get like prototype tools at the moment to figure out how to make that work. Okay, let's see. Let's save that. Okay, don't need that. Okay, those are all set up. They've got their cutout lines. We've got the text boxes, but I need to figure out what... I don't have the text that I'm going to put in those yet, so I can wait on those. We got our photos situated so that they're correct now. They're correct sizes. So those are ready for printing. I need to go purchase some foam core to put these all on so I can cut them out. So I think this is pretty much where I need it to be until I figure out each of the text boxes that I'm going to put in. And I might need Mrs. Tahoe for this part, so might have to wait until she gets home till later to figure out what to put in. So yeah, something like that. Do you need more backstory, Vern, on all of the animals here? Most the funny part is like I've integrated most of the stories into these books. That's kind of the basis behind lol. I've integrated a lot of the story into the books that I'm writing. So that's why I call it Stitch Tales Half True Stories Woven Together, is because it's kind of the amalgamation of the real stories and a little bit of the fiction part of like growing up and telling the kids the stories and stuff like that. This is the embellishment part of it, but we can do some story time. I think I have this is Buttons. We got him, so I was trying to see if I had any other pictures on me. Let's go. Layer, it's that layer. You know what? Screw it. We'll make a new layer. We'll just grab one of these and we'll put stuff on that one. We'll grab some photos real quick. While I'm trying to figure out the stuff I want to do for the other things. Okay, do you want to see a picture of Buttons when he was really, really little? When he was just brand new? Where is it? Where is it? Oh no, do I not have that one? I know I do. There he is. I got a picture of him. There you go. You get a little Buttons belly there. Cute little turd. He was just a little guy. So when we were in college, I moved in with Dreamer, Mrs. Tahoe. She was there for about half a year, maybe half a year at college by herself, and then I moved down and moved in with her. And it didn't take much longer after that. I think maybe a year, maybe even half a year after that. We started talking about an animal and stuff like that, and we're kind of like, she wanted a dog because she always grew up with dogs and stuff like that. But we were kind of like, I don't know if the dog is probably the right move to go. In college, like we're hardly gonna be home. We're gonna be at class. We're gonna be, with whatever our part-time jobs were at that time. Like, I don't know if we can have time for a dog. So we started talking about cats, and I'd grown up with cats most of my life. Let's get rid of these. Let's get rid of these guides. We don't need the guides here. That's just interrupting our picture here. So I grew up with cats, so I was like, well, we could get a cat because cats 90% of the time can be left on their own at home, and as long as they have food and water and clean litter box, they should be fine, right? So we kind of compromised, and we, in our first little apartment, we went down to the shelter, and Mrs. Tahoe is like, I just want to go look. I just want to go look at the animals at the shelter, which I know now is code for we're coming home with something from the shelter. Because it happened several times more after that. We went and we looked, and she found this little black cat, and she fell in love, and she wanted to bring it home. And I told her we should probably go home and talk about it some more and really figure stuff out. And we did. We left the shelter. We went home, and she cried and she cried. She cried. She wanted him so bad. So we went back the next day, and we put down the deposit, did all the things for it, and he still hadn't had his shots yet. So he was. Are you telling the crying story? Yes, I am telling the crying story. We couldn't pick him up for a couple of days because he had to go through and get his shots and get neutered and all of that stuff because he was still pretty new at the shelter. But he was a shelter cat that they had just found on the street, and they put him in there, just a kitten at that time. So, but a couple days afterwards, when they got him all ready to come home, then we packaged him up and brought him home, and yeah, he hung out with us. Let's see, he kind of really like fell into just the normal routine with us pretty fast. Like he whatever, I don't know if he hadn't been at the shelter very long or what, but yeah, he was like, as soon as we brought him home and showed him the what was going on, litter box, food and stuff like that, he was just like, cool, I'm good. This is great. I'm happy with all of this stuff. So like, he didn't have the shelter shock that like a lot of animals do when you first get them, which was really good. So I don't know if that was the shelter that was making sure that he was taken care of or what, but yeah, he was a good cat. So let's see, do I have other pictures of him? I've got cute pictures of him. So that's a good one of them. These two are photos of him later on. This is closer to, let's see, this house. That's when we moved back to my hometown. This is when we moved into the house we're in now. So these are way older photos of him. Let me see if I have some other younger photos of Buttons or not. I definitely have pictures. So you have to remember, this is during the time when like digital cameras and stuff like that were just coming around and being cheap enough for people to buy. So we don't have a ton of photos of Buttons when he was little, because that was like still old school point and click cameras. So we don't have a ton of photos of him. We do have some. Here's a picture of him in a bag. This is in our apartment. We like to hang out. Nikon Coolpix for the win. Yeah, basically. Disposable. Yeah, disposable ones, essentially. I did have a Nikon, I think it was a N80, I believe is what the camera was at the time. But I was shooting black and white photos at that time, so I didn't have any color film or anything like that. Disposables were everywhere. Yeah, they were. Yeah, I don't think we got our first digital until a little bit after this, but let's see, what else? Oh, I've got one. This is one. So he used to like to play in the sink. This is kind of where we get the idea for the character that we have sketched out here. But he used to let the water run down the front of his face. Like it would stream out of the faucet and he would put his head underneath and he would let it stream down the front of his face and then he would lick it off of his, like running off of his nose kind of thing. Yeah, it's a cat thing. But he would always have this like little, because the water would run off the top of his head, he would always have this little cowlick kind of going on the top of his head, which was funny. And like you can see his face is just soaked, like right down his nose is just wet as all day here. But that's kind of where the basis for his little cowlick here came from, was this, because he just always had it. He's always running around with that little tuft of hair just sticking up after being in the sink for a certain amount of time. Little goober. Okay, moving on with our, let's see, so let's get some pictures of Patch in here. That's our next big one. So this is, it only took us about a year or two before we got our second cat. We're just like, okay, first cat needs a friend. We need a second cat. So same thing, went to the shelter, saw a cat, Mrs. Tahoe cried, we picked up the cat. So that's from here going forward, anytime we ended up with an animal, there was usually crying involved and then ending up with animal. I was gonna say, yeah, more crying. Yeah, every time, always crying. She's very passionate, very lovable in that way. So this was a shitty photo of Patch, but I just thought I would introduce that way because now you get this one. You get a big old fat bellies, little kitten bellies Patch photo. He had the pinkest little belly that would show through his little white fur. Still does. You don't get to see it as much anymore, but yeah, he's just a little guy. Just a wee little guy. He would hang out. Mrs. Tahoe had the funniest bathrobes. They were very colorful. He's just a wee little guy. Little pink and black toe beans. He got the multicolored toe beans. And he's got a little spots on his nose that are like black and pink. And I was going to try to do that with his character, but it looked really weird. So we just kind of I just kind of went with the pink style. But he had green eyes compared to Buttons. Buttons had the black cat yellow eyes, but Patch has the green eyes. So a little bit different there. Harder to see on this one, but they got, oh yeah, I gotta wait. We got one more of him being a goober. This has not changed for him, by the way. He still like lays down and just passes out like this. Like, he's 19 years old now, and he still just passes out and just falls asleep like that. He don't care. I think it actually happens more now because he can't hear anymore, or doesn't hear very well, that he can just like pass out like this and just be gone. That's Patch. But we did make sure when we brought Patch home that we introduced the two together slowly and got them to get to know each other, and they actually became pretty fast friends pretty quick. Like, you can see how small Patch is, and Buttons was a big cat. Like, when he got big, he was like a big panther. Like, he was a big guy, big skull, big, like long body, thinnest little black tail, thinnest little rail of a tail. But he was just like big paws, everything. But they really hit it off, almost like they like knew each other, even though there'd been several years between when we got Buttons and Patch. But best of buddies, really fast. Let's see. What other ones that we have here? That one's a good one. That's kind of along the lines of the one we already got up there. They would hang out together and they would look out. We had a second-story apartment. So the first apartment that we got Buttons in, they eventually found out that we had a cat, and they're like, hey, by the way, we don't allow cats. And we're like, well, I guess we're moving. So Mrs. Tahoe and I moved out of that apartment, got a different apartment up on the second story, and the cats used to go out on our little deck, mezzanine little thingamajig, and they would hang out there sometimes in the sun together. They had a good time. Back in the day. Let's see. What other photos do we have before we jump to... We'll do one more. Oops. Just that one. We'll do one more of them together. There you go. There's Patch. He's gotten a little bit bigger, but you can definitely tell the difference. Buttons was a big cat. Like, he was a big guy. And Patch got fat at one point, but he was not a big cat. That's the big difference. But he was a chunkers. And he wasn't like floofy chunkers. Like, I don't know. We don't know whether or not he was just eating Buttons' food or what, but he just became a floofy chunkers. Yeah, see, like, he's not like super long haired, whatever, but he just got fat. He's super skinny now, but he was a chunky boy. So life went on. We had them for years. We got done with college, moved out, moved back to our small hometown. We tried to have a dog at one point. We moved to Reno, and Mrs. Tahoe still wanted to have a dog, so she tried to pick out a dog from the shelter, and let me see if I've got a picture. Oh yeah, there's one. Let's get rid of this. This is Chief. He's like a little border collie mix. We think we had him for 3 or 4 months. Straight out of the shelter. He had home life or something before that, but nobody really knew too much about him. But he was with us for about 3 or 4 months, and then all of a sudden he got really, really, really sick, and we couldn't figure it out. Doctors couldn't figure out what was going on with him, and we ended up having to put him down because the things that they wanted to be able to do to, like, they were going to have to send him to Sacramento. God, what was it called? The veterinary, whatever, because they were going to have to go and like do exploratory surgery to figure out what was up with him, because they were just like baffled about what was going on. and he wasn't like, he was getting worse and worse as time was going on. So, but yeah, he was only with us for a little bit of time. His name was Chief. Both the cats were fine with him. He was fine with both the cats, but unfortunately so they ended up doing an autopsy, and he had like weird scar tissue and stuff on the inside of him. So something had happened to him before we had got him that had set off a chain reaction that made it like, and even they were saying like there was no way, even if they had done the exploratory stuff, he was probably not going to survive, because whatever had been happening to him was putting him too far down the line too fast. So unfortunate, but he was a good dog. So fast forward a number of years, we've got older cats now. Here's an old picture of Buttons. There's old man Buttons. He's like I said, big cat. He had to go while he was with you. Yeah, I think we were able to give him at least a few months of a good life before we had to put him down, unfortunately. But that was the hardest decision to have to make, which it sucked, but it was probably the right one. But old man Buttons here, just hanging out, doing his thing. Here's a picture of Fat Patch. Like, he's not super chunky, but if you saw him in some of the videos that we have running around, that belly swing was pretty pronounced. Like he got them swinging bellies. We called them the belly balls. He was a big guy. A big fat guy. And then a few more years down the road, kids are getting bigger, our kids. We decided to see about doing a dog again. This time trying a different route, finding some advertisements on, I think it was on Craigslist is where Mrs. Tom found these videos and stuff of different huskies. I don't remember exactly how we got on the topic of looking for huskies, but we found Sora in a online. Somebody was looking to rehome their husky, and it was only like 6 months old. She was at that time, so like still fairly young and fairly new, which is crazy that they were like, yeah, we can't. I think they were like, she's too much to handle or too much to blah blah blah. It was just like, okay, but at the time I was working construction still. But I was getting to the point where I was just about done with doing construction. But we were in the process of making that transition, and Mrs. Dawes was like, man, we could do a dog. And I was like, okay, cool. I'm here. I can train the dog. We can do all those things. So yeah, why not try to get puppies again? That'd be fun. So I went down, looked at Sora off of the Craigslist ass, went down and met her, and it was a terrible situation. She was super scared. She had a rash all over her body, something they had given her something that she was allergic to, and they hadn't taken care of her very well, and it was a bad situation. And it was one of those ones where I had to look at it and be like, okay, crap. I could leave this dog here and hope somebody comes along and picks her up and saves her and gives her a good home. Or I can take her for now, and the worst case scenario is if she doesn't work out for our family, then I know of a husky rescue in the little town that I was working in. I could take her there, and they could take care of her better, or find her a better home to put her in and stuff like that, get her all fixed up and stuff like that. But we brought her home, and we got her cleaned up, got her rash taken care of, found out she's allergic to chicken. Go figure. So if you have ever had a dog, most food that comes from any kind of pet store has some kind of chicken in it. So we had to go another route and find like turkey and fish and stuff like that. And as soon as she got on those foods, that made the world of a difference for her, for sure. So cleared up the rash and started working with her, taking her on walks around the house and the neighborhood and stuff like that, because she was deathly scared of everything. Anytime there was a noise or a sound, she would try to run back to the house as fast as she can. So worked with her, trained her, got her, figured out. She's super confident now, able to run around and do whatever she wants. Loves going out on walks and seeing all the new things in the world, especially after a rainstorm or a windstorm. Oh my God, just her favorite time. But yeah, that's how we got Sora. She ended up working out really, really well for the family. She loved the kids. The kids got to meet her like the first day when she came home, and she was just like super nice and super like she didn't jump all over them or anything like that, because she was still a little bit timid. But she went to them, smelled them and stuff like that, and they were actually, both the kids were really good about making sure to give her space and stuff like that, and it was good. Aw, Sora. We barely survived last night's wind. We did wake up this morning and most of our chairs outside were blown all over everywhere, but we did survive. There's my son and the dog underneath the bed. Just hanging out, being silly. That's when she was small enough to fit underneath the bed. But since then, all kinds of different things. I think maybe that within that first year of having Sora is when Buttons passed away. I think it was that first year. I don't remember exactly what day it was or what year it was, but I think it was in that first year, because it was not too far afterwards, and then Buttons passed away. Buttons made it to 14 years old, and then he developed some kidney problems and stuff like that. But then there's Patch. Patch is 19. He's currently still putzing around here, popping into all of our videos and photos. This cat has photobombed everything for almost 20 years now. So it's been crazy. And then there's Sora. Sora's she's going to be 8. Or she is 8. She's going to be 9. So that's the story. That's our background story of the animal. This is a shorter version. Mrs. Tahoe can give you the much longer version if need be, but it basically covers all the little pieces there. Story time. But yeah, all those little stories kind of are getting woven into the books that I'm working on, which has been fun. So, like our third book that I have laid out right here, we actually get to meet Patch for the first time. So that's kind of where our story is evolving into. And then future books, as we continue to move on, we'll add more characters and more interactions and fun little things to do, which is kind of cool. Yeah, you're welcome anytime. I like telling stories. Yeah. I may not be like super great at it, but I like to try to tell stories. But it's kind of interesting that like we had all of these adventures with our animals and stuff like that. And then once the kids came along, we started to, I don't know how it I don't remember how it started, but when we would read to the kids, I would sometimes like make up things while I was reading either the books that we had here, or I would just make up ad lib a story off the top of my head just for funsies, something weird and chaotic or out of the blue in weird ways. But sometimes like we would have photos up on the walls and the kids would ask, "Whoa, what's that photo of Patch?" and stuff like that. And I would just come up with these weird like tall tales of the cat doing something funny or weird or out of the box. And they'd be like, "Oh, really? That really happened?" I'd be like, "Yeah, sure, that really happened." Kind of teaching them over the years, about critical thinking and some things as well. But those kind of got woven into these stories because they were just kind of fun and playful, and like they were there already ready for me in a certain aspect. And I had the characters designed since college almost. I had Patch and Button's characters designed since we got them. So it almost felt almost too natural and kind of weird that I had these stories and these characters sitting around and that they just finally clicked together into this format. This kind of like comic book / anime / children's book kind of style format. So that's where we're at here. So rambling about all the things, but that's okay. At some point I'll finish this page number 18. It might not be today, but some point I'll figure it out. So I can get rid of... We don't need these photos anymore. My God, we have so many photos. We have like 10,000 photos of all of our animals. It's gotten to the point where now my daughter takes enough photos that she's almost rivaling our photos that we've taken of the animals. So she's taken over. No, I'm glad to get off track. No. Those are good moments to get off track on. You understand this. You've seen this. Like I can sit here and stare at this blank page and I can try to beat myself into figuring out how to make it work. But as soon as I like get off and start doing something else or watching a show or whatever like that, that's when the inspiration happens, or that's when the moment happens that dawns on you of me like, oh yeah, that's what I should do there. So no, the distractions are good. Like sometimes that helps, even if I stumbled into it, like telling a story or whatever. So yep, but sometimes that's not the answer to getting it done. Yeah. You're not wrong. This is a different format. This is more of that. I don't want to go like loosey-goosey, artsy-fartsy, but I get to have a little bit more freedom to explore some things and play around a little bit more comparatively. To even just kind of what you're doing, which is still very freeform, but a little bit more rigid on how it all gets put together. So I kind of, it's in between. So I went to school and got an art degree, but I was around all of the people that were trying to be like impressionist painters or the sculptors that would, the gallery style stuff. And those were way more like, I consider that way more artsy fartsy, where they are going to spend 10 years working on a body of work and then try to put it out and sell it for millions of dollars kind of thing. And I'm like, I'm not that kind of like, I have my own deadlines and I set up my own structure kind of thing, but I get to be a little bit more freeform with what I'm doing. If I'm like not feeling it one day, or if I want to get distracted and talk about my cats, I can do that. I have a little bit more wiggle room. fine art is intense sometimes. It can be, for sure. And they really want, like, it was funny. I was doing a project for a sculpture class at one point in college, and there had to have been like 10 of us in the class, and nine out of the 10 people in the class all had an idea of the thing that they were building or whatever like that, and they would very different than what I did. I usually had like a structured plan or a drawing sketch, something like that, but I was more where when they told us like, oh, you have 2 months to create this project and then turn it in at the 2 months period or whatever, and we're going to check in on you on periodic times to make sure everything's going along on your timeline and stuff like that. And I was like, cool, I like that. I like that structure. I can make that work. So I came up with my idea, figured out my materials to make it fit within that timeline. And the other 9 students kind of came up with their concept, and that's what they did the entire time. They just played with the concept for the entire 2 months. And even at the end, they got higher marks on their stuff because they were able to like bullshit with the teacher about the concept of what they were doing, rather than having like a finished product at the end, where even though I had a finished product, the medium that I had chosen, the materials were not like, I don't know, not up to their standard or whatever. It was weird, but I was like, okay, so the fine arts doesn't have to do with like completion of things. It just has to do with how you, not necessarily bullshit your way through it, but how well you can talk about your work and make the talking into the thing rather than the actual work. So I was like, okay, maybe not. I'm going to keep doing the fine arts stuff and learn all of the disciplines, but I'm definitely not going to be a fine arts person. Like I'm not shooting for galleries or anything in that way. Yeah, it really is. It really is. And there are some like impressive works that end up in galleries and stuff like that. But a lot of it is just pomp and circumstance a lot of times. Someone who has that degree. Yeah, you understand. Yeah, I graduated with an art studio degree, so I had a professor that wanted me to get my master's in photo at RIT. What would the masters do for you? By the way, you should go back and punch him in the nose and be like, dude, I'm fucking awesome now, and I didn't have to do any of that shit, so fuck you. That's the thing, is like a lot of those art professors and stuff like that, like they're active artists themselves. So they have a particular style idea, how they think it all should go. And I think the hard part is that they were judging it based off of themselves rather than basing it off of actual like educators would. I'm sure he's slightly fine with how I turned out. Yeah, I would hope so. But at the same time saying a waste of potential. You know what? Fuck that guy. Well, I think you're pretty cool, Vern. So I think what you do is amazing stuff. So he was an awesome professor. That's good. I think sometimes they see greatness in somebody or something, and which is a good thing. But I almost wonder if it's a little mixed in with some of their own insecurity, which is fine. But no, I think where you landed was exactly where you needed to be. That's just my personal feeling. I don't know what the masters would have done for you more. Would have taught you how to write more papers? We all ended up where we're supposed to be. That's good. I hope so. I hope we all ended up where we're supposed to be. I think I have a little bit more work to do. I think I'm trying to figure out my space here. Like I'm enjoying the stuff that I'm doing. I feel like I'm semi decent at it. I've got a pretty good product that has come out of it. Fairly professional looking in a lot of ways. I think things that I could improve on is like printing and publishing and distribution things. But I don't have the resources to be able to make a bunch of that work at the moment. But I'm fairly happy with what I've put out there and what I've got going on so far. So like if I can figure out a way to keep doing this stuff, like I would love to be able to make a living off of this at some point too. I don't know how to make that transition quite yet, but I'll get there. Maybe I'll get there. Master's program would have forced me to find my style faster, for sure. Gotcha. Do you feel like you have a style now? Like, are there telltale things that you use in your photography that are, or even in your editing, I guess, that would be specifically unique to you in a lot of ways? I have my wife's brother who's into astrophotography, so I'm kind of asking for him too, because he's really talented and he's got some good stuff going on. And yeah, I'd like to learn a little bit more. I took some photography when I was throughout the years, but not like a ton. I didn't get to where you were. I do think I have a style now, yes, but it's always progressing. That's how you have to be as any creative. Yeah, that is a very, very good way to put that. That is very true. It's always evolving, always changing. I think there's definitely some tips and tricks that you hold on to, but definitely with the way, I think like if 50 years ago, photography, like you could pick a lane and be in that and just coast, like that's fine. But the way things change and move and technology advances, you kind of have to continue to evolve and change and move and morph. Sorry, the music died. My headphone died on me, so it's gonna shut off the music for the moment. Okay, we're back. Art is the product of how you see the world. That is true. So we were talking about this a week ago? Dang it, I should have messaged you and been like, I need your words of inspiration, Vern. Because we were talking about, I think Alex was asking about it, and we're talking about art and subjective and what is art. Oh no, it was for our podcast. That's what it was. For me and Mrs. Tahoe's podcast, the 500 Little Things one, we were talking about all of that fun stuff. And I think everybody was trying to get me to give them like a definitive answer on what counts as art and stuff like that. I'm like, it's really not up to me. I don't get to choose. I get to choose what is my art in certain ways, but everything else is up to everybody else. I don't know. It can be as much as you want to be. It can be as little as you want to be. It can be helpful. It can be destructive. It can be a lot of things. I don't know. I don't know. I had another point I was going to talk about, but I forgot what it was. Damn it. Oh, that's what it was. I was talking about the astrophotography stuff for my wife's brother. I'll have to ask you, or we may have to, depending on what's going on. I don't know if you know anybody in that type of sphere, Vern. But if it ever comes down to it, I may ask you and see if you know anybody that has connections to some of that stuff. It'd be really cool to see if I can get him in touch with, if he ever needed it for any reason. But that's a whole different ball game, especially with long exposures and stuff like that. I don't know anyone, but there are a couple photographers I know that are amazing astrophotographers. That might be helpful in certain aspects. Because like he's writing a paper right now, and he was able to find somebody to do the interview, but I think they're like in Europe. So he has to do a Zoom call with them and do an interview for a paper that he's writing. But resources, right? It's all about resources. For sure, you never know who will respond for interview requests. Yeah. And any of that stuff is good to have connections to, even if he decides like to keep going and get a job in that at some point, any of those conversations are good to have for that. For sure. So I may pick your brain about that later at some point, depending. It may not happen, so don't worry about anything like that. But just one of those ones, like if it's in the back of somebody's brain, they're like, and you just happen to run across somebody and be like, oh yeah, Tahoe asked me about that. Just one of those things. I'm always working for the good of the people around me, if I can. I know if you lived closer, Vern, I'd definitely hire you to do some stuff too. So that's the same thing. I wish a bunch of the creative people that I knew were closer, and maybe that's something I need to figure out once the kids get moving around with their lives and stuff like that. My son starts college next year. Maybe that'll free me up to be able to travel a little bit, and I get to go visit people instead. Maybe that'll be the thing. Maybe I'll do it that way. I don't know. I'd love to go visit Sage and see his little workshop. I think that would be a fun one too. I could just surprise him, be like, surprise! And he'd be like, oh shit! That'd be funny. Someday I'll travel around and see everybody. You can show me your cool Jeep. Which my daughter still wants a Jeep, so we'll see how that goes. Okay, so we've got about a minute before our last break time here. I can't believe I talked for an hour there. Damn. So we'll pause right here. I don't have any progress to log on our thing today. We kind of played with some of these ideas and these concepts, but I didn't come up with anything solid that I'm super happy with yet. So you need to watch Jason Momoa's On the Roam. Okay, I'll have to check that out. That'd be fun. I don't know what it's about, but I like Jason Momoa. Well, we got about 20 seconds here, and then we're gonna switch over. So about him visiting artists he loves. Ooh, that'd be cool. Okay, I definitely have to check that out. But I'm gonna pause here at the moment. I'll mute myself. I'm gonna switch over to, let's see what our assistant's doing outside. She is not there at all. Oh, she's not there either, so we'll just leave it on the outside. We'll see if she pops in or not, but then we'll take a break and then we'll come back. Already there. Leader of pirates? Oh, okay. Oh, took my first step and am going to start a leadership role in my org for Star Citizen. Nice. Nice. That sounds like pirating. You're going to be a pirate. We know. It is frowned upon in the org. He's going to be a pirate, for sure. Oh, yeah, of course she shows up right when I'm not at the computer. Of course. Yeah, that's the story of a Husker Pups. She just roams how she pleases. When Mrs. Tahoe talks about getting her a puppy to play with, and I'm like, nope. No, I got too much stuff going on myself now. There's no way I can do puppies. I know. She'll just cry, and then it'll be I'll cave. We have some yard space. We don't have a lot, but we have some. We definitely gained a lot when I put in all the grass and stuff over on the side over there. Built a little retaining wall and everything. We gained a lot more space, but not a ton. She knows it. Do it. No. But I don't wanna. Do it. You can't make me. I mean, you can, but I mean, I don't want you to make me do it. We'll use the force. Yeah, there you go. Use the force. Where did she? Oh, there she is. Told you, she likes to roam around. I think I got the two major points where she hangs out. There it is. Yeah, she's chilling. Welcome back, stream. Welcome back, everybody. Well, it's a hard life being Sora, isn't it? She gets to go in and out when she wants to. She's a good dog, though. So rough. Ah. But that's a good one. That's the thing is, like, and she's not a typical husky either. Like, a typical husky might be trying to, like, jump the fence or dig underneath it or anything like that. Like, she's just content. Like, she's happy with what she's got going on, and she can roam around when she wants and come in and out, and, like, she's okay with that. Just kind of crazy, but kind of cool at the same time. That's all I got. Have fun with the rest of your day, y'all. Yeah, have a good day, Vern. Thanks for coming in. We're going to roll up here right now as well, so I appreciate you coming by and watching for a little bit. Hey, if you've got any of your points that you got from watching the stream, put those towards our treat for our special friend. That's the challenge. So if you click on or if you're on your phone, tap. Hey, look at that. Nice. We got our 95%. Thank you, Vern. We did it. We're getting there. We're almost there. Sweet. We're at 47,656. Nice. Thank you, Vern. Appreciate it. All right, stream. Well, I will be back on Wednesday for another, hopefully working on some more book pages here. And then on Friday, I will not be here for our normal typical stream because I will be setting up for my 3-day convention. And I will be gone. I will be gone from the morning until till late evening, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So wish me luck. I hope it goes well. I hope we sell some books and talk to a bunch of cool people and stuff like that. But yeah, that's what's going on. So no art stream on Friday, no Dungeon Protocol stream on Saturday night, and no 500 Little Things podcast episode on Sunday. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, no streams from us at all because we were going to be out. So I will see you hopefully on Wednesday, and then after that I will see you all next week for some more fun stuff. So have a good afternoon. Thank you, Sunny, for coming in. Thank you, Vern. Thank you, B-Shack, for dropping by for a brief moment. Thank you, Sage, for coming by and raiding and bringing all your friends over and stuff like that. Let's see, is any Silux, thanks for sticking around and hanging out and watching the stream. I appreciate that. I can see y'all in the stream. So, but yep, episode 69 in the bag. Funny number. You're welcome. Have a good afternoon, everybody. We will see you next time. Say bye, Sora. She goes, no, I'm done. I'm done with this shit. You can't make me do anything. Now it can't end. No, but it has to end. Everything has to come to an end. It's okay. That's all right, Sunny. I'll be back on Wednesday. I promise. But have a good day. Have a good rest of your week, everybody. I'll see you then. Bye.